Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Shakia Love here, and I am so excited. It is September. It is fall. That means we have leaves falling, new things coming. We have pumpkin spice. We have cinnamon brown sugar. Hello, as you can see, I am so ready for fall. Okay. Today is going to be a special solo episode with just me by myself because we're celebrating our 6-month anniversary and we are putting together such a phenomenal 6-month anniversary show that everybody else is just so busy planning and getting everything together, and I can't give too much away, but what I can do is talk about a 6-month anniversary giveaway that we are doing right now. I'm so excited. I'm calling it the Speak and Seek box because I really want us, as fall comes into play and the season start changing, to start walking into our power of what we can speak over ourselves in our lives and even the lives of people that are close to us. And it's I've just been seeing a lot of things that have been confirming the need to release the voice of the bully, the voice of saying you have to be so hard on yourself in order to feel like you're doing well. Yes, we need to have goals. Yes, we need to work hard to try to achieve them, but you still need to recognize that you are a human being at the end of the day, and everything that you're doing is to edify your spiritual being and your soul. So if the things that you're doing, even if they seem productive, if your soul is always drained, then it's not profitable productivity. Clean Skin Club face mist. I love this face mist. I use it. Y'all see my skin is glowing. Y'all know I'm always doing my Clean Skin Club ads because I love them so much. But this really works. I use mine only kind of a couple times a week, honestly. Only because my acne has healed up so much. But they have another one. This one is for people that suffer with acne. It has a salicylic. I can't say that. So we just gonna... Y'all see what it says. So it has that in it, but it also has rose and eucalyptus. And all of those are really good for people that suffer from enlarged pores and acne. And y'all know where I came from and y'all see me. Okay. Hydro lip mask that we're really excited about. And also from Spoiled Child, conditioning tinted lip balm. And y'all let me know how y'all like this. I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy it anyway for myself because I really wanted to try this. But I said, my fam, my virtual fam comes first. My Kia lovers come first. I'm doing a giveaway and y'all get the best of the best. So even though I wanted to keep this nice conditioning tinted balm for myself, I'm adding it in my giveaway box because y'all got me to 6 months and I'm here doing this instead of all the other reckless things I could be doing. And that's because y'all support me and I love y'all. So that's what this giveaway is about. That's what the entire month of September is about. Really want everyone to feel, heard and to feel empowered to speak up for themselves. And that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today too during this episode. The power of effective communication. If we're going to be in each other's lives and this is a social thing, I already spend all day working and being drained. So if I'm in your life outside of work and I consider you a friend and we're choosing to be around each other, I consider you a partner because we're in a relationship or whatever we're doing, I want it to be effective. I want everything that we're doing to like build each other up. Yeah, there's going to be times of turmoil, but when it comes to even conversations and communication and disagreement, like how are we speaking to each other and communicating to each other in a way that is going to be effective, in a way that is going to, okay, when this conversation is over, even if we don't agree, we still have learned something new about each other. Neither one of us left feeling like, oh wow, did this person ever really love me because they said something that hit just so beneath the belt. Like, because certain things you say you can't take back. First, I wanted to, you know, get a little bit more personal on this episode. I mean, I guess y'all probably saying she always getting personal. How more personal could she get? But I kind of wanted to talk about my testimony a little bit and some of the things that I have been freed from through my relationship with Christ, as well as through just like the hard work of, choosing to stay in and read and write instead of going out and drinking all my problems away, and talking about having effective communication in a relationship. You cannot effectively communicate if you yourself don't have love and don't honor who you are. Because if you don't honor yourself, then you're not going to be able to honor someone else. You're not going to be able to see the need and being mature and putting down your wants for the needs of others. Like, you're not going to be able to even have that type of depth if you are so filled with trauma that you can't even love on yourself. Like, another big part of my testimony is being freed from the bondage of what I thought other people's perceptions of me were. And the reason why this was so like life altering for me is because it came with the freedom of knowing that, one, a lot of people don't even perceive you the way that you think they do. So you need to worry about yourself and your own thoughts and trying to learn how to communicate what you feel instead of always putting other people's feelings into the atmosphere without even knowing what they think. So that was a freedom, because it's like, girl, you don't even know really how you feel most of the time. So how are you going to know how someone else feels? And then the freedom of knowing, regardless of how they perceive you, what does it change about you? You can only change anything about you. You are the only one that can get you from point A to point B through the decisions that you make. You are the only one that can take care of your body, that takes care of your home, that keeps everything in order, that honors your parents, that works your job and you go there diligently every day. You're the only one that can be who you are. So regardless of how people perceive me, why does it matter? It doesn't matter. And if there's things about myself that I see when I look in the mirror that I don't like, we just spoke about this. Only you have the power to change. That's the beautiful thing. Even when you see things you don't like, you got the power to change. And in the serenity prayer, you ask God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's like, if I can change it, give me the courage. But first, give me the wisdom so that I can know. And this is the thing that has gotten me out of not being able to even write the novel. It all starts with knowing who I am, right? But here's why this is a huge part of my testimony. It was so hard. It was the hardest thing in the world, was figuring out who I was, because for so long I functioned in survival mode. And I literally just was whoever I needed to be in the environment that I was in. Whatever I needed to do, like, I still kind of had some of my core characteristics, but for the most part, I can admit that. Like, that's something that I really, had to work through in my shadow work period of like, girl, figure out who you are and be that. You feel what I'm saying? So always being in survival mode and always feeling that I needed to conform to what was going on around me, that is not me living in my most righteous place. Like, that is not what God has intended for me. And when I learned that, that like literally opens so many doors for me in terms of how I can effectively communicate with other people. Because how can I effectively communicate if the whole time that you think you're getting to know me, you getting to know a fake version of me that isn't even really me? Then when it all piles up and I can't take it anymore, I lash out. And this is what happens a lot of times. Like, so you have to know how to, like, it's not bad to recognize certain things about yourself that need to get better. That courage, like, to change the things that we need to change. When you function in a state where if you can't be a victim, you have no identity, that's a problem. And the real work of like writing, praying, calling my mom, sitting on the phone with her for hours, even when she says things that I like really don't agree with, eating it, listening, and then like logically explaining my point and getting so happy to see the growth in our relationship when she listens and like responds back in a way that doesn't attack me and I don't attack her, and like taking in those little victories, like not letting them pass by and acting like they don't exist, because it took years of hard work to get to this place. It took years of leaving the stress and the anxiety that comes from your day job at your day job and coming home, like, as hard as it is, with a clean slate, walking through that door and saying, you know what, I love you. I want to effectively communicate with you. I want you to know how much I love you by the way that I don't just put you first when it's going to benefit me, but I put you first when it's actually going to put me at a disadvantage. That's how much I love you. And that is a very rare, like, you don't do that for everybody. Okay? Like, don't get mistaken. Like, that's some real type of, like, I'm going to hold you down type of love. But if you in it and you say that that's what it is, that's what it should be. Like, I don't have so much ego that I'm always trying to one-up you. It's not about a one-up. It's about, no, this really is an issue for me, or this, I don't like when you do this because I want to be here and I want to know what you don't like so that we can effectively live in this like cohabitation with each other that is draped in grace and filled with love. So 1, time and place. And I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, okay, duh, like there's a time and a place, like, but I don't mean that as in like physical, as in like, oh, you need to talk about certain things at home, you need to not do certain things in the street. Like, I mean that in terms of verbal communication in conjunction with your emotional side and your rational side. So time and place. There's a time to be emotional. There's a time to be rational. And I think that regardless of where we feel like we fall on the spectrum, if everyone just focused on having more balance in both areas, we all could be more effective communicators. You know, there's a time when we're maybe having a conversation about finances, or we're having a conversation about next steps, or like securing the future, our children. Like, there's certain conversations where, yes, I understand that you have certain emotions that are leaning you to certain impulses, but we need to be rational right now. And it's not fair for you to make the rational person out to be like the devil or the enemy because they're wanting to think ahead. I feel like that's all rationale really is thinking about all the different possibilities and not just functioning on how you feel in the moment. So there's times for that, but there's also times that to be completely irrational. And the only reason why we still together is because what, love, that's completely irrational. And there's a time and a place for that too. Like sometimes things happen where it's like your homegirls, the people in your church, the people on your blog, everybody you know, they will continuously look at you and be like, I don't understand. I don't understand how they're still together. You don't have to understand. Love is irrational. And there are certain times where you're going to have to hold on to that irrationality in order to make it and weather the storm. But just because that's the case, it doesn't mean that there's never a time to be rational. So, time and place. Once you realize that every single conversation does not have to end in a battle, and I really mean this in the most literal way possible. Like, I know everything that I'm saying is like, well, Dad, that's been said before, but I just feel it's on my heart that somebody that is in my space, that is on my channel, this is what God is telling me y'all need to hear right now while you're watching this video. And he wants me to tell you that I'm making it plain. This is literally what it is. Like, every single time that someone in your life that's close to you says something you disagree with, doesn't mean it's a battle. You don't have to see it as a battle. You know what I'm saying? But what can be ineffective in what we're talking about with time and place is manipulation. When you realize that the tone of the situation of which you're in, let's say, is like a rational tone, like we're talking about finances, or we're talking about where our kids want to go to school, and then you use an emotional like ploy or defense to deflect and manipulate the situation. That's not mature. That's not effective, because you might get your way right in the moment. Like, let's say you do. Let's say you're like, okay, yes, I got my way. Like, the kids are going to school where I want the kids to go to school. Or, like, we're able to go and spend thousands of dollars on this vacation that we really can't afford to go on. Like, yeah, you might have got your way, but guess what? You're slowly just chipping away at the trust that you took so long to build in the relationship you're in. Every time you intentionally use your partner's most vulnerable moments, and it's a vulnerability loving you. So the fact that your partner is in love with you and they're willing to make sacrifices and do things that they know is not healthy just to make you happy, things that they know is going to hurt you in the long run just to make you happy in a moment, they're willing to do that. That's a vulnerability. So you're taking advantage of that every time you use the love that they have for you to manipulate their decisions. You know, it's not cool. 2, no storage space. None. Okay? And here's what I mean by that. And this is something that I know that we definitely do. As Pisces, I got the file cabinet on lock. It's in there. See, that's toxic me. That's me that liked being a victim. I had to get rid of the file cabinet. I know it's going to be hard to let it go, but let it go with me. Let go of the file cabinet, okay? You don't need it. And why, especially, I'm going to be 30 next year. At this big age, why are you in my life if I got to keep a file cabinet on you? When I have the freedom and the autonomy that if it's that bad that I can't speak up on how I feel in the moment, and I literally have to archive it and save it for later and try to use it as a weapon, like, you don't need to be in my life. So that is why I am a huge fan. God gave that to me when I was writing one day, like, no storage space. Like, we don't have any extra. It's hard just maintaining what we got to put in just from our day to day with our job, our home duties, errands, like business, LLCs, nonprofits. You don't have no storage space to be holding and harboring the things that people done did to you, that done hurt you, and you don't feel so like, oh my gosh, I can't even breathe, I'll never be whole again. You will. God will heal you if you allow him to. It's very ineffective to download data of all the mistreatments that you feel like people have put on you if you're not willing to speak up about it. Maybe not in the moment, because sometimes you could have trauma in the moment, but if you're not willing to speak up about it in any time frame of when it happened, like, it's not good to store it. If you're not going to speak up about it, you got to let that go, baby. Because if you store it, all it's going to do is weigh you down. Like, in a way that you can't even describe. Like, you're going to be in the bed aching and crying about something that you thought you got over because you're still holding on to the fact that you didn't get an apology. You might never get one. Are we not going to move on? But if you wasn't storing it, you wouldn't even be thinking about an apology because you wouldn't even be thinking about whoever needs to apologize to you. You know, so no storage space. It's very, very ineffective. And especially when you're in like a relationship and we're talking about communication, having a storage download of all the things that your partner, like someone that you're still actively with, like that is your partner. Having a whole storage folder of all the things that they do, whether big or small, that pisses you off, that you never speak up about, is you withholding valuable information. And that's not fair when you have someone in your life and they're thinking, okay, we're really doing this together. I'm with somebody, they're in it for the long haul with me. Like, we're really in this together. Like, they think that, and you're withholding the most valuable information. Like, if it's keeping you up at night and it's making you get on dating sites, even though you're supposed to be in a relationship, and it's making you think like, well, what if, and you even thinking about things that you never was even thinking about last year or a few months ago, then that means it is affecting you, even though you keep trying to tell yourself it's not. So you need to communicate it, speak up about it, or move on with your life. Sounds pretty harsh, cut and dry, but that's just how I am with stuff like this, because life is too short. You ain't got time to waste, and you shouldn't waste other people's time, because that's not right, you know? 3. So, I know everybody's heard of the 80-20 rule when it comes to dating, and things of that nature. But I was journaling one day, and I had this thought of the 70-30 rule when it comes to communication and having conversations, like one-on-one conversations with people. And the 70-30 rule implies that you listen 70% of the time. At least this is what you should strive to do. If you're having a conversation, 70% of the time you should be listening, 30% of the time you should be talking. And if both parties are setting that metric for themselves, you're going to meet somewhere in the middle. But the great thing about it is by the end of the conversation, both people are going to walk away feeling like the other person across from them listened more than they tried to talk over them. And even if you leave the conversation still disagreeing with one another, it's just so powerful when people feel like they have been heard. It makes them feel like, I don't even care if you don't agree with me, because at least I did my duty. At least I let you hear about it. At least you heard me out. You listened to me. But the type of things that make people go off the deep end, I feel, is when they just simply feel like they are not heard. Like, you're not even listening to me. Like, you're cutting me off before I even get out what I need to say. You're walking out, you're leaving. And it's like, God really had to deliver me from that. Because this is like I'm giving tips, but I'm also talking about my testimony solo episode. Happy anniversary. Like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't do self-reflection and shadow work. So I'm always happy and then like just excited to share that on this virtual platform, you know. And I just really understand that when you want to effectively communicate with somebody, you have to listen. And I know it's hard because for a lot of us, we go our entire day at a job where no one's listening to us, no one cares about what we think, and like, but when you choose to be in a relationship with someone, you're saying, I want you to listen to me, and in order for me to be granted that, I need to listen to you. So 70-30. And honestly, How can this be shown ineffectively? Hearing to respond versus listening to understand. Two different things. Two completely different things. When you hear someone, it's like, Shakia! All right, Ma, I heard you. But I'm still typing on the computer doing what I'm doing. Shakia, you hear me calling? All right, I heard you. And I'm getting up as I'm typing, but I'm still typing, walking slowly. I heard you. I can hear a lot of things. I can hear the birds chirping and the air conditioner going and the water boiling while I'm trying to watch my show, but I'm listening to my show. You ask me what was said 5 minutes later, I can tell you because I'm listening. You ask me what was said 5 days later, I can tell you, but I ain't going to be able to tell you what the bird was chirping about. I ain't going to be able to tell you what song was playing out of the person's car that came into the parking lot blasting their music, because I'm not listening to that. I can just hear it in the background of what I actually am listening to. So when you don't practice 70-30, that's what you're doing to your partner. And you may think that they don't notice it because they acting like everything all good. They notice it, boo. They notice it. That's why they on Tinder, and that's why they on swipe left, swipe right, and that's why they super checked out and they don't care, and please understand that that's not always the case. Like, some of these people out here are trifling. That's why they on that stuff. But you know, this is the grown folk conversation. We said that in the beginning. This is the grown folk conversation, okay? And with grown folk, we do shadow work. And Shakia Love is celebrating 6-month anniversary hosting the Play to Win podcast. And on the Play to Win podcast, we talk about effective communication, okay? And how we can effectively communicate. And you can't effectively communicate with someone outside yourself until you keep it real with yourself and everything that you need to do to be better as well. Okay? Yes, so y'all know I still had to hit it with the hotline bling. Okay, even though we doing solo special, I really am excited every time y'all send me in questions. Okay, so please send me in your questions to kickingitwithkia@gmail.com. You can be anonymous. You can tell me who you are. Like, you can send in more than one. Like, I love hearing from y'all, like, seriously. So we want to hear your crazy love stories, your good love stories. We want to hear about your friendships, how you deal with, you know, life. And if you have any questions for us about how we deal with life. So the first question is, what role does trust play in a relationship during both positive and challenging periods? And how can trust be rebuilt after it has been damaged? Oh, see, this is when I wish I had guests, because y'all know that my track record is not the best, okay? But trust is necessary for a relationship. That's just my opinion. You know, and to me, if you think you're in a relationship but there's no trust, you really are just having casual sex with someone that you have feelings for, in my opinion. Because if I don't trust you, then how are we building legacy together? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like you're just playing house. Like, when there's no trust, at any moment, the person can literally get up, pack a bag, and be like, I'm out and I'm not returning. And you might not see it coming because you want to live in a fantasy world. But if I don't trust you, I'm always going to be on edge and anxious about what you're doing, or vice versa. Like, if you don't trust me, like, nobody wants to feel anxious all the time. And I'm telling you, like, a lack of trust breeds anxiety. And if I'm always on edge, nothing is really stopping me from one day getting up, packing a bag, and saying, I'm done here. I'm moving on. And some people, it's just a gamble. Some people stay, they never leave. But are you really willing to risk the love of your life? Like, in how do you fix it? If it's been broken, you need forgiveness. But here's the thing with forgiveness. I think the problem with people is they never want to really work for it. It's like forgiveness is not just words, it's words and actions through changed behavior. So working for it takes time, patience. You can't do somebody dirty, lose all the trust in the relationship, friendship, whatever, and think that it's just going to be rebuilt overnight. It takes time. And a lot of times, people the person that did the wrong, that broke the trust, they think just because you're agreeing to see it through and try to work it out, that automatically means that it's fixed. And that's not what that means. You still have to work at it. You still have to show me change behavior. You still have to take the time to just show up, answer, not get mad, not get agitated. Show that things are really different. So that's what it takes to rebuild trust. It takes time. And in a world where nobody feels like there's enough of it, I personally think that when trust is broken that bad, it's better for everybody involved to just cut ties and move on. People will say differently just so they can be able to be like, I've been with this person for 500 years. Like, but were you happy? Do you feel fulfilled? Can you really look into your daughter's eyes, like if you're a woman, or like if you're just a parent, can you look into your child's eyes and all the things that you try to tell them to do that they have to do in order to be successful and to live a fulfilled life? Can you even really mean it? Because you spent majority of your life living a life that is unfulfilling because you've been in a dead situation that has no trust. Like, when there's no trust, like, there's literally no foundation. Any little thing come and shake us up, any little storm, everybody's out. So you got to do what you got to do to fix that. Okay? So next question. Why did you start Play to Win podcast? Okay, well, I like that. So I started Play to Win podcast because I used to have a radio show in college. I love communications, broadcast communications, visual communications. And I just feel like podcasts is just such a great and effective way to reach the people right where they are. And be able to bring other people together of different backgrounds. That was even the theme of my radio show. Like, it always would be two opposing views sitting across the table from each other. And y'all know y'all better come prepared because the other person is. And we gonna talk. And even if we disagree, we're gonna talk. And we're gonna finish the conversation. And we're still gonna say hello when we see each other in the cafeteria the next day. And that's what Play to Win is about. It's like, we're gonna come together, we're gonna have those conversations, we're gonna talk. And again, because relationships is such a vital part of all of our lives, whether they're platonic or romantic, I just hate looking at the world and seeing how much we suck at it, like, collectively. I don't like that for us. Like, I don't want us to suck at relationships. I don't want to suck at relationships. So how do we get better? I'm hoping that us continuously talking to each other about these things and talking to people that have a different point of view from us, like, can help us get better with sharing our own point of view. So that's why I created Play to Win podcast. Okay. Thank you for your questions and hotline blinging with me today. Okay, guys. Yo, solo episode, not for the week. Like, just sitting up here, I was running out of things to say, y'all. My dad better hurry up back. Y'all know it's his birthday month. So he booked and busy. He outside. But, ooh, we outside too. I got something in store for y'all. This 6-month anniversary is not a game. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for tuning in and playing to win. Y'all know where to find me at Shakia Love, 2 A's, 3 E's. I love y'all, my Kia lovers. I'm always going to be here to spread light, joy. Y'all have to know that when it comes to communicating with someone who you're saying you're going to do life with, make it effective, productive. I like the word effective more than productive because I feel like it has purpose. Everything in your personal life needs to have purpose, or it needs to go. And it's going to be a blessing and a gift when you get to a place in your life, period, where everything, whether it's personal or professional, can have purpose. But I understand and stand in agreement with the people who that is not your reality right now. Where, listen, professionally, you don't always feel like you have purpose, but you got to get that check. But that's when it's even more so important that personally, it got to have purpose or it needs to go. So effective communication, okay? And thank you. I love you. And be light. Peace.